Nicotine enters the body primarily through the air passages and lungs. From the lungs, it is carried to the left side of the heart, and from there, it is rapidly distributed to all tissues of the body. This is why the smoker feels the effects of smoking almost as soon as he lights the tobacco.
Nicotine is as addictive as heroin and cocaine and ice, and it's very hard to get off nicotine.
Whether it's big tobacco or small tobacco companies, once people get hooked on nicotine, they become users generally for a long time.
I smoked a lot of cigarettes all the time. I tried quitting so many times, it didn't work.
I smoked a pack and a half a day for 17 years. Told myself I'd quit when I graduated high school, told myself I'd quit when I graduated college, told myself I'd quit when I graduated law school, told myself I'd quit when it became 30.
You know, as soon as your brain starts to open up nicotine receptor sites, you can become seriously addicted. And this is a slavery of nicotine. Everybody thought that they could quit really easily.
Nobody enjoys smoking. They're uncontrollably addicted to it. Tobacco cigarettes were invented and aggressively marketed for non-smokers to become smokers.
From a business standpoint, I don't think it's an ethical business at all, but from a business standpoint, people can get a customer and have a long-term loyal customer.
The question is then, why do people smoke? Most people start smoking in imitation of a hero, or because they think that it makes them look important, grown up, or sophisticated.
I started smoking for the same reason everybody else started smoking, to be cool. It looked cool to me back then.
You only live once, and when you die, you gone. Let the good time roll. Let the good time roll. Don't care if you're young or old.
What do you think?
This is what I was really looking for.
Well, conventional cigarettes are combusted tobacco.
Vaping is not perfectly safe, although it is much safer than smoking cigarettes. There's no organic compounds or carcinogens.
A cigarette is so antiquated. It's an old method for people to administer nicotine. This is a newer way. This is a Jetsons way of administering nicotine.
It works a lot like the patches. There's different nicotine levels, so you could actually use it to quit completely with nicotine. You start at a higher nicotine strength and then go down to 0.
It's a tobacco harm reduction tool.
The more I vaped, and I could vape in my car without it smelling like cigarettes, without me smelling like cigarettes, it was a healthier alternative. And the more I started vaping, the less cigarettes I started smoking, and I really started feeling better about myself.
I mean, the thing about the electronic devices is they have a much cooler factor than cigarettes right now. I mean, there was a time when people tried to, sit around and smoke cigarettes and look hot or look cool, or they thought it made them look just more with it, or older if you're young. Young people sometimes wanted that, or to fit in. And I think some of those fitting in and looking sort of cool is still applying to the electronic devices.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the same principle, like, oh, smoking is cool. It's the same thing like vaping is cool. It's basically the same idea, except it's not as bad for you. And just now it's kind of like a popularity thing, I guess. Like everybody's got one, so I need one. Whoever has the biggest, baddest vape gets to show off the most. I mean, that's me, obviously. I can edit that out.
This is what we have for a 3rd generation device. This is called a box mod. Just start from the top. This is the drip tip that you would place in your mouth. This is the tank. It unscrews from this base, so these two pieces are entirely separate. And inside there's an atomizer. An atomizer is what heats up from connection with the battery to vaporize the liquid.
So whenever you press the button, this little contact will raise and complete the circuit in the battery and push electricity through the coils in the atomizer.
And then we build our own atomizers. So basically it's a platform. Instead of buying, like, I'm sure you've seen the tanks that take the little coils and stuff. So with these, it's a platform, and then you actually wrap the wire yourself and then feed cotton through it, and then you just drip the juice on it. You're manipulating the resistance. So like a lot of people do all these different builds with the wire and different gauge wire and all this crazy stuff, and that's a huge part of the culture.
People are customizing their devices, and it becomes a sort of cult thing to have a specialized device and share that information with your friends.
There's vape meets, there's conventions, there's all this stuff now. People hang out at vape stores and talk about, you know, what's the newest flavor and all the new devices that are coming out.
There's a sense of community and family amongst vapers. We all share something. We were all able to quit smoking using a device. We were able to give up a harmful and deadly addiction to something.
I mean, people are extremely happy that they found something that's better for them, and it does bring people together.
People who promote vaping are either long-term smokers who are feeling much better because they say they've switched or maybe even quit, or kind of the young adult community that's still trying to be really hip and thinking this is a very cool thing.
E-cigarettes have been endorsed by celebrities, several celebrities, and this has appeared in a variety of print and web media and at sponsorship. So that really reaches a lot of audiences.
There's a lot of advertisement that's hitting pop culture. Using social media a lot. Of course, that was a phenomenon that wasn't around in the 50s. But social media is certainly being used to promote these products.
Sales of e-cigarettes approached $2 billion in 2013 and are estimated to surpass $10 billion by 2017.
People are still trying these things out, and they're trying them out at a greater rate than they were 5 years ago.
Clearly, the electronic devices are the hot item right now, and that's what everybody's after. So the projections are certainly that I can't remember how many billions of dollars in revenue are expected to happen, but it's astronomical.
This is a meteoric rise in popularity and product adoption that you don't see too often with anything else.
You know, you've got your underage kids who are seeing this and they want to vape, and it is illegal to purchase nicotine substances under the age of 18, but you can still order things online.
It's making it seem normal to have something in your mouth that puts toxins into your lungs again. We had denormalized it, but it's not natural. And the lungs were not meant to be smoked by anything.
We only have one set of lungs. You know, why on earth do you want to put anything in it that's going to be harmful to them and possibly affect your future health?
We don't make the claim that it's safe because we can't. We don't make the claim that it's healthy because it's not. It is a safer alternative to a deadlier habit.